Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble news channel. But a few years ago, a group of Bitcoin fans really focused on this area and said, let's make this a bit of a Bitcoin density. From people who have been here for a while, we can see that this is what's happening. A lot more businesses accept it and a lot more people hold it than they did a few years ago. That's what you see in these world's little hubs. I believe that it's good for the Bitcoin network for these hubs to grow. You don't want all of your Bitcoins to be in one big ETF called BlackRock as much as possible. You want Bitcoins to be used in all of these different places, like all of these countries. Alden talks about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in this film. A sudden event at a gathering in Butler, Pennsylvania caused the price of the biggest Donald Trump mamic coin to go up by more than 30%. DexGrainer data says that the market value of my Ethereum-based coin went from $293 million to $469 million in less than 45 minutes. Hatsna and another cryptocurrency saw a quick 21% rise during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, on July 13th, where shots came from an unknown direction while Trump spoke. As the shots went off, Trump automatically put his hand over his ear and fell to the ground. Secret Service agents quickly put up a shield around him, and his security team quickly took him off the stage. Trump yelled at the crowd and raised his fist, telling them to stop. Stephen Chan, a spokesman for the former president, told the Associated Press that the former president is stable and getting medical care at a nearby hospital. He thanked the police and first rescuers for getting to the scene of the crime so quickly. With a 70% chance, Trump is the favorite to win. She has a 9% chance of winning, while Biden has a 15% chance. Trump was wary of cryptocurrencies at first, and he has called Bitcoin a scam many times. But in the past few months, he has changed how he feels about Bitcoin and other digital currencies. Lyn Alden talks about a lot of these things in the video, so please watch it all the way through, like it, share it, and follow. To sum up, Bitcoin can be used anywhere in the world, and you can even buy it yourself. Plus, it's the biggest, most liquid, and safest cryptocurrency out there compared to other ones. This means that Bitcoin is the best way to send $1 billion anywhere in the world. Then there are the network effects that come with that. It gets safer as it gets bigger, more liquid, and more valuable, which makes people want to own it even more. Because of this, price is a key sign. When it comes to adoption, it doesn't matter what happens every 1, 2, or 3 years. What you want to see is higher highs and higher lows in Bitcoin over, say, 4 years. This shows that adoption is happening. And yes, volatility is important because you want an object to go up in value when it is small. There's no way to go from a Bitcoin, which has a market cap of about $1 trillion, to something else. And it went from nothing to $1 trillion. It hit $1 trillion during a weak market for about 12 years. It's back to $1 trillion now. Not having potential volatility will not let you get that. And when there is upside instability, there is also leverage and, for a while, too much enthusiasm. And that's what causes times of falling prices. That's why it can't reach its full potential market without volatility going both ways. Now that Bitcoin is getting closer to its total addressable market, you might want to think about what percentage of your liquid net worth you want in a portable, globally portable, self-custodial, peer-to-peer currency. The best one is probably a pretty big chunk of your liquid net worth. A very small number of people even own any at the moment, and those who do generally only own a small amount. So I think the number of people who use it is still going up. I think it will be a multi-trillion-dollar network in the end. It seems like it would be bigger than any single stock. And so I think the instability will be there until it gets to that more mature stage. When it comes to Bitcoin as a whole and the health of the Bitcoin network, one of the main ways I measure it is by price and liquidity, but also by the network effect of all the people who use Bitcoin. So all the different hubs that show up. Coin Beach in El Salvador was one of the first, and they finally got the whole country to adopt it, at least at the president level. From there, it spread slowly to the rest of the country. Then we saw places like Bitcoin Ecosi in South Africa and Bitcoin Jungle in Costa Rica. Today there are a lot of new hubs, and we're in Bitcoin Atlantis, which is one of them. It's a good name since you're on the island of Madeira in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But what happened was that a few years ago, a group of Bitcoin fans really paid attention to this territory and said, let's make this a little more Bitcoin dense so far. That's what we're seeing happen. You know, compared to people who were here a few years ago, a lot more businesses now accept it. There are many more people who hold it now than there were before. That's what you see in these world's little hubs. So I believe that it's good for the Bitcoin network for these hubs to grow. You don't want all of your Bitcoins to be in one big ETF, you know? You want Bitcoins to be used in a lot of different places, like all of these countries. Talking to people from all over the world at these conferences makes me feel really hopeful. For example, I just finished talking to a woman from Saudi Arabia, a man from Bolivia, and another man from Colombia. There are also a lot of people from Bulgaria, Australia, Malaysia, the US, and other parts of Europe. That's right, a lot of people from Africa, many people from the Middle East are here, and everyone has the same goal in mind. After that, a lot of them go home and build things. Building neighborhoods and businesses is what they do. This is a part of the network effect. Part of the reason it became one of the biggest money systems in the world is because of that. When the price of Bitcoin dropped to $4,000 on July 5th, whales bought a lot of it, worth $4.3 billion. They did this to take advantage of the recent drop in the price of cryptocurrencies. It has been since April 2023 that buyers have stacked Bitcoin at this fast rate. It is important to note that this trend began soon after a number of US neighborhood banks failed. These events make it seem like Bitcoin may be getting close to its lowest point, which could mean that its value will start to rise again. A whale moved 1,000 Bitcoin, which is worth about $60 million, to 2 new wallets on July 14th. The deal was found by Whaler MX. At the same time, the German government sold almost 50,000 Bitcoin worth $3 billion, which added to Bitcoin's recent drop. Still, Bitcoin's price has started to rise again. It broke through the $660,000 support level and has now gone up 6% since Friday, when trading ended. We've also seen this gold. After seeing that real interest rates were going up and the balance sheet was getting smaller, it held up a lot better than you'd think. In 2022, I think most things went the way you'd expect them to. At that point, net liquidity was going down a lot. All around, the prices of assets were going down. Things started to change toward the end of that year and into 2023, though. The Fed was still trying to be tight, but they weren't being as tight as they thought they would be because of government spending. Even though they are trying to be tight, money was moving out of the reverse repo facility and back into the broad money pool. All of these signs of wealth have gone up since then, even though they kept interest rates high and kept lowering their own balance sheet. There are more ways to measure liquidity on the way. Stocks are going up, Bitcoin is going up, and gold is still doing well. In the United States, real estate prices have gone back up to their high points after a brief drop. This is true even in places where prices are very high. When you look at the average across the country, it's almost back to where it was before. I think a big reason for this is that the Fed finds it hard to tighten when the government debt is this high. And any tightening they do makes interest rates go up, which is actually a good thing because it makes the economy grow. The business is getting a lot of fiscal deficits. When you have $2 trillion in debt, it's hard to go into a recession. You're making things better before the slump even starts. And of course, that means we could have a second wave of inflation. We could go even further if prices keep going up faster than pay and keep people from buying homes.